Well, welcome everybody. Podcast 229.
Guys,
we are getting up there.
We're on time.
Yeah, well, like we have some network people that are on, and they're media, so on time might be a better route than us.
They're so professional that we needed to be professional today.
You're
awesome.
Or attempted,
yeah.
anyways.
Yeah. Dexter, would you say we're usually like 6 or 7 minutes?
Oh, you need to stop.
I hate that.
He's throwing his hands up in the background right now too, and I'm just gonna mute everybody. Can't stand it.
Yeah, obviously we got a great show going on here. Hopefully we have some Candlepin people coming in to watch. We have obviously some 5-pin people watching, but I'm excited for this one. But before we bring them in, I just have to say, Blue Jays, what a signing!
You know, I didn't expect the Blue Jays to be the team to start off the big free agency signings, because there hasn't been anything big at all yet. Nothing major. Yeah. There's been a trade or two. Sonny Gray got traded. But, I mean, for the Blue Jays to be the ones to set the tone for, like, a free agent signing, that is not something I'm used to. I love it.
Do we think it's a bit of an overspend on Cease, though?
You know what? It depends on which Cease we get in a season. To me, true. Cease 1 year is going to be a Cy Young candidate, and then the next year, he's going to be trash. And like this is how my fantasy teams with him have gone forever. So I stay away from him because you never know what you're going to get. But what you're going to get is going to be the entire season.
But so I get maybe a little bit of overpayment. I mean, I don't know what free agents pitchers are available next year, but you have to look at as Gossman's out and Bieber both could be gone, right? So You're trying to not have to get 3 different starters next year. Instead, you have 2, right? Possibly. So I think that's what they're looking at.
We're gonna try something new too. We're gonna add the comments on the side live.
All the ones. Okay. All right. Well,
it's gonna be interesting.
Keep it PG, chat.
Yeah, we can say anything, but the chat better keep it under wraps here.
That's right.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that was a good splash for the Blue Jays. I don't know if that spells bad news for other big signings for the Blue Jays, but let's hope.
I don't think so.
I think they're going to have money still. I mean, look at if you take away Bassett and Scherzer, they're saving money with Cease, right? So it's because Bassett was $20 million, Scherzer was $15 million, so you're paying Cease, so the money is already there. So I think it'll be fine. I still think they're probably going to try to go for one big one, whether it's Bichette or Tucker or maybe both. But I think it'll be one more you'll see come in.
I think after this postseason, they're willing to open up the pocketbooks and see what happens. I mean, they definitely made a lot of money. They definitely made the money. So, And if you're going to compete with the Dodgers, you're at the point where you need to spend the money. So it's nice to see them actually doing that.
They definitely have to spend money. And I think if they weren't willing to, they were going to lose so many players. And the fact that Bieber stayed on, even though he had the player option, I think just told the world that management was willing to spend so they could back him up, right? Because otherwise, like, what was the point of him staying?
And I think it shows that Toronto is suddenly a destination, which is crazy. Like, I did not expect Bieber to.
As long as they're willing to pay the tax, that's all.
I mean, when you're paying $30 million, taxes are really. I mean, but I mean,
in Canada,
I don't want to give her, Candlepin friends a hard time already. But I mean, if they're Red Sox fans, it's better than Sonny Gray. So, I mean, there is that. I mean, you're not paying guys. Well, I think they ate $20 million, but it was a $40 million contract. So, I mean, I'd rather take
Sonny Gray is amazing.
Yeah, I don't know.
Sonny Gray is
Sonny Gray is a hell of a signing for Boston, and I don't care what the price tag was. I think he's going to be good.
Well, that was a trade though, right?
Yeah.
From St. Louis.
Yeah.
I don't even know where Sonny was anymore. After he left the Athletics, I didn't care.
Yeah, he is an elite level pitcher. Like Cease can be, but I would still put my money on Sonny Gray over Cease.
Yeah.
Oof. All right. Well, with that all being said, let's bring in our guests. We got a lot to learn and a lot to share. So without further ado. Welcome to the show. Everybody can
Hello.
put their names down below. I don't want to butcher Greg's last name, so we'll let him pronounce it. How do you spell it? Or how do you
Spelled as you see it, and it's pronounced Guyar. Micah Imperato in the one of our leagues says slime pirate. Guyar. There you go. Or you can call me Greg G. Either's fine.
All right, try saying my name, Carrie.
Yeah, B.O.B. Lee. B.O.B. Lee.
You said it backwards.
Boo, Bob Lee.
Yeah.
Bob Lee. Well, guys, thank you very much for joining us. I know you guys just had a huge competition that you covered at Worlds there not too long ago, where we happen to have a few of our friends out there playing. But obviously, we want to learn a lot more about you guys and where you came from and how you got to be media people for a small ball sport that we know the mainstream media seems to have forgotten about. So
Yeah.
if you want to start us off,
do it.
Go ahead, Bob. You got the floor.
Yeah. So I'm Bob Lee. Hi. I'm the founder of the Candlepin Bowling Network, and Greg is one of my first great hires, along with Paul Grant, who's been exceptional, and Drew Steele, Duncan McDougall, and many others. But we came into this game lately. Like we were sort of, I think we were an outgrowth of the pandemic, and it was a period of time when Candlepin is this is a sport that was invented back in the late 1800s in Worcester, Massachusetts, along with duckpin. The rules were standardized around the same time, and the heritage goes back really, really long and strong. And we had huge fan base across New England. I believe there are 159 different alleys that Anthony Caron has visited, one of our great bowlers. And the sport used to get viewership that was greater than the Red Sox and greater than the Patriots, even in 1986. 1986, a year when the Red Sox went to the World Series and the Patriots made the Super Bowl, the ratings for Candlepin bowling on Channel 5 on the weekends was greater. But everything kind of had come. The Channel 5 show had died out in the I think 2005 or 6, and in 1995, right? Actually,
1995.
And the UHF channels all had a run of it. Like the little networks that had a run of it in the early 2000s, they had faded away, and centers were closing everywhere. The pandemic came, and no one saw any hope for the sport. Right around the time when one of my buddies on my softball team needed a sub in his Thursday night league, and asked me to come in, and I said, "Where have you been? My God, these balls are like they're the size of a softball. You can throw them really hard. The accuracy, like you can barely ever hit what you're aiming for. This is so cool." But in the league, nobody was hitting what they were aiming for, and the guys' averages were like 80, 83, 75, whatever. But I knew from having watched the old shows, I knew that there were good bowlers out there somewhere, and you looked on Facebook. Every once in a while, they'd show up, and there'd be a live stream with no announcer, and you weren't exactly sure what the game was they were playing.
Right, exactly. Men's averages are usually we'd want them in the 120s or 130s for the top end. I mean, no one's going to get a maximum 300 in Candlepin, but there you go.
Yeah. I was watching, but nobody knew what the score was. Nobody knew what string they were in a 5-string match or anything. So one of these days, I came down to Millis, where they were showing one of these events, and the alley was mostly empty, and these guys had their phone set up on the back of a shoe, sort of propped up like that was their tripod, and they were just at the end of each match they were showing the scores, dangling the scores down to tell you who won, but you couldn't follow it very well. And I said, "Hey, you mind if I just talk into the microphone, talk into the phone and tell people what the score is?" And what was born was a thing that we called Spread Eagle Productions. Now, I don't know if your fans know what a spread eagle is. It's not a term you use in 5-pin, but
It's a term we use in a few things.
It's right in the middle. You hit right what you're aiming for in the middle of the front pin, right? And you chop away the one. And remember, we have 10 pins. You can hit the 1, 5. Unlike 10 pin, you can actually gut
You
out.
punch the head pin full.
Yeah.
Right.
And that became the name of our network because we were usually set up and we'd set up the microphones, the cameras, and something didn't work and it was a disaster. So, which is what happens when you aim for the middle and your outcome was usually a disaster. So for a long time we were Spread Eagle Productions, but too many people thought they were watching porn, I guess.
Just for a side piece, there is a town in Newfoundland called Spread Eagle.
Oh, beautiful!
So that's all I was referring to.
I haven't made my journey out to yet. Do they have any Candlepin lanes near there?
No.
It's 5 pin. It's 5 pin. But and we at least doubled to 20, 30, sometimes 40 people were watching with the announcer. But then when we started showing up at Worlds, all of a sudden we got a spike of 1,000 people were watching.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
And then we showed up at we figured out cameras and microphones and headsets and things like that. And what the real key was putting a scoreboard up so people could follow what they were watching, because like baseball, like football, and I think like your scoring is really complex. If you're watching that without seeing the score, you don't understand the game.
Yeah.
And with the with the numbers, this is a beautiful game. And when you put the package together, it's really fun to watch people, throwing rocks at sticks. That is a lot of fun.
Yeah.
You're talking about like nobody's ever going to throw a 300 in Candlepin. So like give us a little context for people that aren't watching Candlepin, and you called it a string. So a string is the same as a game. In 5
that's
pin.
right.
What would be like? What's the maximum score you'll see in Candlepin?
There is no maximum. But Greg, why don't you take it further?
Yeah, so every bowler has their own high single, which everyone tracks as well. I mean, nobody's going to get 300. The maximum score, for example, is 245, set by 2 men, actually, in 1984, Ralph Sem, and 2011, Chris Sargent. And then only this past year, Jenny Rowe set the highest women's high single, 210. But realistically, most scores are in the low 100s or so for the best of the best bowlers, because of just how frustrating the pins are. Like a good pro string would be getting maybe 1 strike, 3 spares, and then you're getting your 9s and 10s. For reference, folks, you throw 3 balls to frame just like before, strike, spare, and count. So getting your 9s and 10s for the rest of those, and that pinning is like pinning is winning in 5 pin, very important in Candlepin as well.
So as I understand it, that your pins are about 4 inches apart wide.
Center to center is 18 inches apart.
Okay, that's the distance between
on the angles,
and your diameter of your pin is you're aiming at the pin target is 4 inches, I think.
Great question, man. This is
ours
where
is 3.
Our rules aficionado is going to be right on that. This is called Dexter's Rule Corner.
Tim took over like tech stuff at C5, so I really think it's him. But
let me pull it up here.
It should be around 5 inches.
Yeah, I'm assuming it's 5 inches because that's how
your ball
big the rubber band
can be between no less than 4 3/4 and no more
greater
than
5 inch.
Yeah.
And our ball's a little smaller. It's 4.5 inches.
Right.
And the pin is a little smaller. So even the best of all time, the best. I was originally I was a professional statistician by trade, and so I came into the game trying to figure out not just how they bowl, but what is good, what is normal, and what I found. One of the most interesting things I found was that even the best bowler of all time was only able to hit the pin they were aiming for about 80% of the time. Over the course of many games. I watched a couple of world championships recently. I think you guys are closer to 90% when you're aiming, when you're hitting the head.
Yeah.
Maybe one out of 10.
We want to be 90 or better.
Okay.
And what was really interesting, I don't want to jump subjects here, but I saw bowlers I think I was amazed at how Mark O'Loughlin, who's both a Candlepin and a 5-pin bowler, if memory serves, he was just head pins like crazy down the way. I was just like, he's got like 18 in a row or something like that. That never happens.
That is really rare. So yeah, Greg mentioned Chris Sargent. We only have 2 recorded cases of where a candlepin bowler hit the object they were aiming for with every ball of the string. One of them was Chris Sargent, and the other was our recent Pete Crawford. He threw an immaculate game where I think he hit 18 out of 18. On his, what was it, a 227 that he threw for at the Pro Series. But I think you guys have games, a lot more games where everybody's hitting what they're aiming for. But you're playing with that weird experience of you're chopping and you're
with
hitting the shot you're aiming for gives you not what you're aiming for.
Yeah, hitting the middle is the easy part of our game. It's hitting the pocket, which is the hard part, right? Yeah. I hate to say it, but I'll talk about it. You can go to just about every tournament that Gino Zebarth is at, and he hits it every time. There's no doubt. He barely misses, but he'll have like 5 or 6 head pins or splits, and like your score just doesn't add up, right? It's hitting the side with, and our game relies a lot on rotation, so extra revolutions when the ball hits the pins to give them extra energy to make the pins.
Yeah,
better,
so
right?
You don't have to be perfectly in the pocket if you have good rotation. You have room for error if you have that. But if you put it in specifically directly in the pocket, it should be a strike most.
There's this element like major league or like high level pitching in baseball where there are a lot of guys that can throw a really hard fastball, but there's no deception on it. They get shelled. We had a guy back in the Baltimore Orioles that I used to follow, Ben McDonald. He threw the longest home run balls. It's just incredible. 101 miles an hour, and then that thing was gone. That thing was up in the out of Memorial Stadium in no time.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah,
you got to have some rotation on it. You got to hit it at an angle or something. Yeah.
Well, hopefully Sonny Gray throws fewer.
Yeah.
Sonny Gray got lots of movement. He'll be fine.
Yeah.
I kind of view our game kind of the in between 10 pin and your game in a way.
I can see that.
Yeah.
Just because, I mean, our balls are a little bit bigger, our pins are a little bit bigger, so we have a little bit more room for error on that side of things for accuracy for single pin stuff, but. We have an element of perfection, not to the way that 10-pin does. 10-pin perfection is almost commonplace, whereas 5-pin, it's not. You see maybe 2 perfect games in a year.
Oh, okay.
But you see them. You see them relatively often in comparison to the game.
That's a 450.
Yes.
Yeah.
But we are a very much a pocket sort of game. You have to hit pocket to win.
And
which
so you're
is different,
getting,
right, Bob? To us, arguably? Depends on the
sorry,
bowler. It depends on the bowler, but some bowlers will literally say, I'm just aiming for the head pin and candlepin just because of the smaller diameter ball and because the pins are, for those who don't know, candlepins are very slender, rods as opposed to the shape of a bowling pin, which 5 pins resemble more so. Like most,
and our pins actually weigh more than our ball. So whereas you got this 5-pound ball, or I'm sorry, no, it's four.
It can be 3 pounds 4 ounces up to 3 pounds 12 ounces,
which is identical to duck pin.
Our pin maxes our ball maxes out at 2 pounds 7 ounces, and the pins are 2.8, and they're really big, and so I've talked to a lot of pros, and almost all of them are aiming for the middle of the head pin because you get your best shots are just a little left or a little right, and if you choose one, you're going to miss the head pin a lot. Like I was saying, the best percentage if you're aiming for a single pin, the best percentage recorded, Jim Putney got an 80% rate, but it was during a streak of 10 games where he won that Channel 5 show. Other pros have been 78, 76. Jeff Surratt, the best bowler in the game now is 75. The typical bowler is more like 67%. So you're missing your head pin a lot, and if you aim off the middle, there's an argument. The split is a disaster too. you get 40% of the time you hit the head pin, you end up with a split, which is worse than you would get if you miss sometime, quite frequently. So, but you have to have the discipline to still aim for the head pin and not think, oh, the lanes are killing, the lanes hate me, or my ball is the problem, because I actually hit exactly what I aimed for and I got crap, which is why we were called spread eagle production.
Yeah.
You have to have the discipline to say, I got to keep on that target, and it'll come to me, even though bad things just happen to me for a minute.
You can talk to a lot of the professional 5-pin players, and a lot of them do say, I'm just aiming for the middle pin, because you're assuming at 60 feet you're not going to throw it perfectly dead center, right? You're going to be a little bit of variance, and in our game, a little bit of variance can very well mean the pocket, or if you have enough roll on the ball, it can be heavy and still strike. But when you get into a zone, or a player is running deep in a tournament, a lot of the time they are just hitting one pocket, and it's just repetition, muscle memory, and
I think you've got it a little bit bigger, so I think you can aim for the pocket. It looks like if you're hitting 90% of your head pins, you're not that worried about missing the head pin as much as you are about avoiding that split.
It's funny watching the people that punch a lot, especially on tour and stuff like that, and then they're complaining that they're punching out. It's like, well, you're obviously making a little bit of a mistake, because that's not the object of the game. Your object of the game is to hit the side of the middle. So
the professional average for strikes is 9%. So not even one per game. 9% strikes in Candlepin. What would it be? How many? I think it looked like it was a lot higher from what I've watched.
Over 50.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
definitely.
Yeah.
There's an argument. Here, tell me if you agree or disagree with this claim. 5-pin has among the lowest amounts of randomness in the game, where if you hit your pocket, you can generally expect the action to happen. And Candlepin arguably has the most randomness, even though skill is rewarded in both games in the end.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. If you hit the pocket, you're more than likely to strike. But there is the time that you get blow-throughs or skips. So you're picking up corner pins. You might be picking up a side if you get chopped. But if you're throwing it in the pocket, I would say 85% of the time you're striking.
Oh, and it's definitely, I'm sure it's the same in your game as well, but it very much depends on the center. You have to.
Yes.
We rely a lot on adjustments. There's a shot that works in different centers. You just have to find it. That may mean different angles. It may mean different balls, different weights for speed, like balls, different rotations. There's lots of things that you could do. But
you can, Paul. You just get into your email and click that link.
I guess I sent it to him on Messenger as well.
Yeah.
Perfect.
But yeah, a lot of it relies on those adjustments. So the higher level bowlers, that's what they're looking for. They're looking for a room for error. So so when you talk about hitting pocket and having head pins splits being a mistake, it is a mistake in our game. Yeah. But when I'm playing for a line that when I throw the ball properly, I'm hitting the left pocket, but if I put the ball down a little bit, it's hitting the right pocket. I'm finding the spots where I have room for error. Punches are always a mistake. Always a mistake.
I see we got Paul Grant coming in.
Hello, Paul.
Hey, just a great fundraiser at Butwell's Bowling Center in Concord, New Hampshire. Raised $1,217 for the charity.
Awesome.
Nice.
That's like $4,000 Canadian.
Hey, can I ask you guys a question? How much would you owe if you had lemon drops in 5-pin?
Hold on.
I don't even know what a lemon drop is, Paul. We haven't got that.
That's the 4-pin or the 6-pin in Candlepin.
Oh, I thought it was a shot for sure.
Yeah, that is.
It's about $4.75.
I talked to David Gowans a lot. David Gowans says he owes me like 4 lemon drops from today's bowling tonight.
That's what we call it. So we got, as you look across, our pins are numbered 1,
2, 3,
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in the next row, which you don't have. And then 7, 8, 9, 10. So if you hit just the 6-pin or the 4-pin, and it just chops out, that's called a lemon drop. And
for the millionth time, they only know the numbers 2, 3, and 5.
we in our sport, if you're playing like at a big tournament with a team or whatever, if you score under 9 or less in a frame, that would be kind of the equivalent. Is like you owe dollar or whatever.
single
'cause
digit.
That's not good enough. Yeah.
Candlepins, 4cancer.com, the website, okay? To donate.
Number 4.
Here we go.
There we go. We got the plug in
501c3
edgewise.
charity.
That feels
Yeah,
like
of
really
course.
hard. So you take out just the 4 or the 6 pin. That feels like that's not an easy thing to accomplish.
Well, you're missing by 9 inches. First of all,
It's more semi pros do that than the pros, obviously, but some pros do it.
It'd be kind of like, I think, if you chopped out your 2 or your 3 pin, like that would be like, it's just not a,
Tearing the 3 pin out happens a lot. Like that's not uncommon.
No,
Yeah.
you'll only missed it by a couple. I don't know. You don't exactly have it.
We still miss by a lot.
That's bad. Yeah, it's bad.
Or you can do the Paul Grant special pool. Miss the second shot complete. They make it all on the third ball for a 10. Whatever you call it. 15.
That could be a
Yeah.
thing. That works.
Yeah. So you miss the second shot completely. You pick it all up in the third. That's a Paul Grant special. Put a buck in for that if you want.
Sure.
So Paul Grant obviously has a lot of catchphrases, as you've seen.
Paul broadcast 510 matches last year.
512.
512. Sorry, I got it wrong.
Yeah.
That gets you a sense of like all the effort, especially him, but a lot of us put in to just drive pretty much anywhere to cover this game.
That is amazing.
Yeah. That's the cool thing about this. So I did watch quite a bit of the World, especially when the Canada 5 team was playing, but the amount of phrases you guys have for any shot was astronomical. I was a hard time keeping up with, oh yeah, that's what that meant, or
That's a Caleri.
there's a lot going on.
Well, in Maine, it's the Christy
I enjoy
Hepworth
it.
special, the Clary.
Says him.
That's catching on. So, one of the reasons for that is if you give the numbers and you say, "Oh, he's got the 1, 2, 7, 9, 10 left,"
Right.
nobody really understands it, and that's not very good broadcasting. If only the pros understand what you just said and what the leave is, let's give it a name that reflects what it looks like, or how, and let's also have something of a sense of how often you make this. So ours is a spare game. Like I said, only 9% of your first balls turn into strikes for a pro, and that in about 30% will end up being spares. You're playing for pins. 9s and 10s are important, but also the really big difference. The reason that the guys can get averages of 125 or 130, like our top pros do, is that they're getting 3 spares and a strike per game on average, maybe. And on average, that means there's plenty of 5s in there too, 5-mark games and 6-marks games. And you'll see a 10. We every once in a while have a 9 or a 10, but and the fills are coming in at an average of a 6.3, and the strikes, you get 2 balls, those come in with an 18 and a half. Those numbers are very low, but they make a huge difference when you compare them to like a 9 or a 10. So that's where you're jumping way ahead of everybody else. That's where the pros are. So converting on those spares. And by the way, we get to play the wood, which adds another bit of randomness.
Man, that's why I want to play. Because to me, it feels like a mix of like bowling and pool.
It is.
Yeah,
sure.
billiards, right? Like you got to play the angles and all that stuff. And like to me, that's really cool. I love the.
Have you noticed that the rack is set up the way a pool? Our rack is set up like Justin Pops White, who standardized the game in Worcester, the guy I was telling you about back it's 1880.
1880, yeah.
Yep. Justin was a pool shark, and the house that he was working in was a pool house, and they were bringing the Candlepin game inside, or they're bringing the 9-pin game inside, rearranging the pins so that they stood up in those the way that they were setting up an 8-ball rack. And the other thing about that is, you shoot a lot of 8-ball, you're not gonna. It's kind of random.
Yeah.
Whether they go or not. It's a break. It's
funny. It's funny. Speaking of pool, I always call it the Minnesota fat shot when they hit the cap of the wood to get a spare or $10. I'll say, "Oh, Minnesota fat shot," because it's famous.
Shooting the pin backward. Yeah, like you hit the pin different ways. You can send it left, you can send it right, or you can pop it around. You can get the ball to bounce off the wall and come back to the other side. Yeah,
he was a famous pool player.
Quick question here. Capital pin.
I'm sorry, what?
Did you say capital pin?
Cap of the pin. Cap of the pin.
Oh, the cap.
Yeah,
the cap is like the very end.
Very top of the pin. Yeah.
Okay, so you just said something that was interesting to me. you can make the ball come back on the lane, and that still counts. So if it goes like off the sidewall,
Yes.
that
Yeah, oh,
counts.
definitely.
Yes.
That's different.
Yeah, you're definitely playing your ball or the pins onto the sidewalls.
The only time it doesn't
so-
count, if it hits the curtain and back comes back on, it doesn't count. But I was covering a guy, Matt DePuro, 2023-24 season at Woburn Bolodrome, Woburn, Mass. He had the 1-7, a bunch of wood. He hit the head pin. The ball went flying in the air, disappeared. It bounced on the other lane, hit the right channel, and as it hit the channel, it vibrated the 7-pin down for a spare. I never saw anything like that before. It was crazy.
The corner pin, yeah.
What?
Yeah, it's a legal
Yeah.
ball. As long as
it's on
as long
Candlepin
as first
Bowling
contact,
Network.
as
You
long
guys
as the
just
first
love
contact-
chaos.
Yeah, a little bit. As long as your first contact is with a legal object, like so if there's a pin on the plate,
Okay.
and your ball jumps up into the sky, bounces around, goes up and gets a cup of coffee and comes back, it's a legal ball.
But you can't huck it into the gutter and have it come out of the gutter.
No,
it has to hit
that's-
a
that's
pin for the
No gutter
Okay.
balls allowed.
On your
Yeah,
first
okay,
ball
yeah.
comes on the lane, you have to reset. If it's on another ball, after you knock pins down, you just retract it.
Yeah, no respots because there's no strings to reel them back in. It's all free
Yeah.
fall. And of course, with
Right.
the wood in place, we can't respot basically anything. Unless you want to do like the snooker rule of foul and a miss, but
And-
that takes ages.
Speaking of nicknames, Casey McCool is watching. Hey, Casey. So the two pins on the left, 2 pins on the right, called the double P-knuckle. I started calling it banana split. It sounds better and tastes better. And I like banana splits.
Yeah,
So
but
Casey
you know,
McCool would always say, I'm hungry. Every time I say banana split, I'm hungry. So it kind of start, and always say, where's Casey McCool? He's a big guy from Lakeside Lanes. And he just
It
like,
happens to them.
and we started the growl sound. Rrrr.
It
And,
happens to them all the time. They
he
can
dressed
punch
up
the
like-
head
he
pin
dressed
to
up
get
like
that.
he dressed up like Indiana Jones. He likes to be like Indiana Jones. So I always tease him out of 1,300 people. He came in at 1,300 first, auditioning for the part. So Casey's a funny guy. So we have a lot of fun with that.
Yeah,
Amazing.
your viewers in Moncton call that one the Golden Gate when you
Yeah,
have the
yeah, that's right.
Okay.
2 pins on either side.
We learned the bucket shot, the hay bale, the pocket of 5 on the left side, the right side, and the setback from Canada also.
But what I
Oh.
want to know though about 5-pin is like you guys are really big. I think you guys are actually a lot bigger than Candlepin in
Mhm.
West. In
They're
West.
literally a national game. Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys have like I could see in the poise of that Canada 5 team, and these guys were used to bowling in that with a lot of people watching. They don't throw as fast. They threw a 34, 35 mile an hour ball, but they were super well balanced. And I saw them starting with typically with a straight arm, pulling it back very slowly, and then accelerating into the pitch in a way that was a little bit more precise, just a little bit more precise than even the average pro. Now, our guys, by comparison, most of our top level pros, the guys that carry averages over 120. By the way, when I throw those numbers out, the average at the Worlds was 116 and change. That was the average men's average among the 24 teams. And our guys can throw 39, even 45 miles an hour. What they're doing is, you said, oh, you're surprised that you're knocking balls and pins off the sidewalls. They're hitting the head pin into the wall. It's coming back, hitting the other side wall, bouncing back a second time, and then a third time when it's 45 miles an hour. And the guys that can only throw 34, they're only getting it to go back and forth. And the guys who can only throw 30, like me, back, maybe they can cover the other corner. That's where some of the big difference is in the speed combined with the accuracy. And if you don't have the speed, you've got to have even more accuracy.
Yeah,
Your guys
that
had
makes sense.
remarkable accuracy.
Well, when Greg and I went there in 2023, Bob couldn't go because his brother had just passed, and he couldn't go 2023. So I asked the guys. They never bowled Candlepin. They just bowl 9-pin, and they're in the Worlds. I'm like, how do you do that? Their game transfers so good to this sport. Like you said, they're so precise, and they have such great attitudes. That Canada 5 team was amazing. They were just very joyful, energetic, and they competed really hard.
Yeah, whereas I was impressed by their footwork.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He noticed their personality. That's the difference between us.
Speaking of that team, we do happen to have one of them here going to join us. And like you guys do like a little bit of chaos, so why not add another person to this podcast?
Oh, he's chaos.
But But he is the Captain Crotch Chop now, I guess.
Yeah,
He's a Pete Weber wannabe. We have
and
our
then
best
lost
friend-
to a Weber on the WCB tour. I think I cursed.
He did.
I cursed that into being. I'm so
We
sorry,
have-
Ryan.
ROC Ryan O'Callahan joining us.
Who's this now? Who's this?
Howdy, fellas.
Ryan O'Callahan. We saw him.
All right, Ryan.
Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Yeah,
we-
we can hear you.
Yeah, you bet.
Well, that's probably bad news for you guys then. So.
So I just want to ask one question before we get to Ryan. You're talking about like the pins going back and forth, and how like with the slower ball speeds, maybe twice, maybe one time, whatever. Now, does that game become way more an accuracy game when you have round gutters to flat gutters?
Yes. Boy,
So that
there was no
really
end
changes the
to
game.
comparison.
So let's
Very
explain.
different.
So let's explain something here. So sorry, Dexter, if I didn't cut you off there.
No, by all means. Yeah.
Predominantly in the United States centers, that's Massachusetts, New Hampshire, and Maine, they have more flat gutters, rounded gutters,
yeah.
or not where the wood, if they rolls in, the wood will get captured in there, and the wood will be out of play. You can't hit it
Right.
first. In the Canadian provinces where it's played, which is New Brunswick and Nova Scotia, which noteworthy is a squished province in the CP5BA. I noticed C5PBA. Excuse me.
Yes, yeah, you bet.
They tend to have more flat gutters, much to the chagrin of the International Candlepin Bowling Association, which is the proprietors association, as opposed to the Bowlers Association that Tim is the president of. I know, but But yeah, that's a bit of a difference because the flat gutters, of course, tend to keep the wood in play, which some could argue, well, it's Candlepin. You want the wood to be in play. And some will say, it gives weaker bowlers more of an advantage, for example. So there's a debate there, and it does tend to go across.
You'll end up
the
with
line.
25-second strikes, where the ball's bouncing back and forth and back and forth and back.
Oh,
Is
And
there
then
is
finally
there a
hits-
ruling on
Finally
that?
hits the 5-pin. No. It's as
You
long as
must wait for the wood to stop by rule.
I did
can't
count.
shoot it
I
moving-
counted a
moving wood.
13-second strike at the Worlds there. 13 seconds for a
You
strike. I couldn't
can't
believe
count
it.
that high.
Come on now. Come on now.
So, Ryan,
That's
we don't
wild.
know how much conversation you had with these guys, but if they don't know anything about you, Ryan is in the middle of nowhere, northern Canada, up in Manitoba. He travels for everything to play 5-pin, and for him to make that trip to go play Candlepin, good on you, Ryan. But that cross shot, we got to start there. Where did that come from? That was in the finals, was it not? Why was that your thought process?
Well, it wasn't my thought process in my defense. There was a couple of us that were probably about 12 beer deep each at that point of the day too. But I can't remember who it was on my team, but they're like, hey man, if you spare this hard shot, you should turn around and crotch chop. I'm like, well, we're getting our asses kicked by the defending world champs. I mean, why not? So I made a shot and looked cool. I turned around and I crotch chopped, and the team went
that
nuts.
video
It
went
was great.
everywhere.
Noteworthy, the C5PBA has an alcohol policy. Candlepin's rules do not yet, even though it is an issue.
C5 has a drinking rule. The other ones, it depends on the tournaments.
Yeah,
Masters you can't. WCBT doesn't. Bowl Canada doesn't. So Proprietors Association doesn't. Masters does. WCBT doesn't. C5 does.
Well, Greg and Paul were announcing the Worlds from the booth inside over at Fairlanes in Moncton.
Yeah, it was
I
a
was
DJ
right
booth
near.
back
I was
there.
right near the front entrance. There was a lot else coming in through the front door.
Yeah, oh yeah. I'm sure there was.
I finally found someone that drinks more than me at bowling tournaments. That's a 5-pinner, so that was fun. I know I'm not
Murph?
the worst. So, oh yeah,
Murph?
Murph.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He must have been busy tonight to have me on because that's the true star of that team was Andrew Murphy for sure. So
I have never commentated drunk, just for the record.
and I've totally never bowled drunk before ever.
But honestly, that makes sense to me because you said this is ran by the Proprietors Association for Candlepin, right?
So the IC, I guess I'm not sorry if I've misunderstood the question a bit, but basically the Proprietors Association is the one that sets our rules, which is the ICBA, and maybe it was from older versions of the rule
Right.
book, but the International Candlepin Bowling Association, the Proprietors Association, sets the rules that I think have largely been unchanged since about the early 2010s. And then there's actually a new Players Association, which hopefully will be able to work hand in hand with them, but comes at it, the Candlepin Bowlers Association. The CBA and the ICBA. Take notes, there'll be a quiz. But yeah, that's been recently formed as well.
Okay, so the Bowlers Association, do they follow the rules of the Proprietors Association then?
Yeah, in fact, it's so new. I mean, they were actually founded basically 2023. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys, but something like that, and they're actually just sort of forming that now. But so for now,
the fact standardize the way we keep we keep our averages. We have a lot of tournaments where you'll use your house handicap, whatever your local average is, and some of the houses are a lot slower than other houses. So if you're bowling at a fast, a high scoring house, you go into this match giving up 10 pins to someone who's coming from a dead house.
But I can think of something else as at the risk of derailing the conversation. There are some rules that there is some tension between the bowlers and proprietors, and the biggest one I think is the so-called lob line rule. Yes. In Candlepin, there's a line painted 10 feet in front of the foul line. Your ball must not touch before that line. And I know in 5-pin as well, it's actually enforced sometimes with plexiglass guards, if I recall. Like these lane protectors where if you dislodge it or lob over it, then that's a dead ball too.
You pretty much only see that on wood lanes, not synthetic. Right. Once you have synthetic lanes, we get rid of them because, I mean, you're not going to do damage to the lanes. So,
which is interesting because the line's still there in synthetic. Go on, Dexter.
Well, they took them out in Moncton, fair lanes.
Yeah, they took them out.
Some say that's disputed.
Yeah, but they're not following the same rules. Exactly.
Well, the thing is, like that Brady Tuck rule, like the Brady Tuck rule in 2001 against the Raiders on the snowball game. That would be a fumble nowadays. Back then, it was considered an incomplete pass. Until they changed the rules, you have to abide by the lob line, I think.
Yeah.
And there's too many lobs, I think, in bowling.
And I liked you, Paul, until you brought up my Raiders. Yeah, thanks, bud.
Sorry.
Well, it's been wonderful being a part of the show.
Great, guys. We're done now.
No, but seriously, they changed the rule because contrary, they changed the rule after. Until they changed the lob rule line, it's like a foul. People complain about fouls. Well, if you go a speck of an inch over the foul line, people get upset, but they lob the ball 2 feet over the lob line. That's okay. I just think it should be in place until they change the rule.
Now, question for you, an opportunity to sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to expand on that. The only reason we had the lane guards in place was to protect the softwood because the balls would be lofted out and dent the wood, right?
Right.
Once synthetic came in, they got rid of them because there's no reason to protect it anymore.
Yeah.
They're indestructible.
But my concern is people are going to throw the ball in the air, hit the ceiling, hit the top of the pin rack or something like that.
Not so
Our
much
balls
with
are heavy.
5-pin.
You can't throw them that far.
It was Paul. It was one bowler, one time with one ceiling tile. It's not an epidemic.
Yeah, I mean money match too. Somebody got stuck in the lane, and the momentum took the ball into the ceiling, and never came down.
But I do find it interesting because the C5, our Bowlers Association set the rules for our game. Your Proprietors Association set the rules for your game, and I think that's where we have some differences in the rules. Whereas, your proprietors are going to allow drinking. That makes sense. It makes them money. That makes sense to me, right? Whereas ours, the C5 runs it, and it's Players Association. They're more about the professionalism, so there's no alcohol with that. You have your Proprietors Association having the lob line, but the other side not, right? Like that makes sense. The Proprietors Association will want the lob line to protect their lanes, right? So all of that kind of makes sense. It's interesting that the two associations are on the opposite sides of it. That's neat to me. That's interesting.
Sorry about the Raiders. I like the Raiders, just not like the Patriots.
Don't worry about Tim pouting.
I used to like them in the 70s. They were at least like in the 70s. Howie Long, and they were good then.
Yeah, Howie Long's good. Yeah,
I would say that that lob line was the biggest thing for me to adjust to because like once in a while I'll get a ball out on the lane a little bit more than I'd like to, and just the weight of the balls and having to put it in play behind that lob line, I found that was probably the hardest adjustment I had to make between the two games.
Because it's a pound lighter, Ryan.
The funny thing too is people get upset. People get upset if you call them out on it, like, "Oh, shut up! Why are you telling me about lobs?" It's like, well, it's a rule, but some people love a lot, and they don't get called out on it. But if someone fouls inch over the foul line, they jump on their throat. So I think you should be respecting the game.
Well, I definitely had a couple that went over, like not on purpose, obviously. But
no one was calling lobs at the Worlds, were they?
No,
No?
probably
Yeah.
not. No, not
No.
at all.
No, I saw nobody calling the lob on
Right.
and those lines were like faded away. They weren't.
They don't have lob line anyway there.
Yeah.
Bob, it looks like you and Paul are on opposite sides of this conversation.
I tend to be on opposite sides from Paul.
we do have sorry to be Mr. PC here, but we do have a lot of different perspectives here, including
Oh,
like
for
how
sure.
we market the game as well. Like, you know,
Yeah.
like do we try to market it, like, are we focused on growing the game and building an audience outside of New England and the Canadian Maritimes, or do we, you know, focus on community, which has enabled Candlepins for Cancer success and, you know, the over $105,000 that that charity,
Right,
Candlepins for Cancer, or fighting cancer, but Candlepins for Cancer, does, for example, you know, things
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
That's that media voice I just heard. I've heard that voice
Thank you.
before, and it was on one of the podcasts. Yeah. So obviously, we don't want to take away from the world's competition. Obviously, I know that's not what you guys are putting on, but you just broadcast it. Was there anything stand out this year at the Worlds? I know it. Is it?
Oh yeah, we had an
buy-in
American
tournament?
team taking a championship home from Canada for the first time in I think since 2011.
2011, I'm
really?
pretty sure,
9?
yeah.
Yeah.
And
Oh, wow.
the tournament is hosted in the U.S. and Canada alternate
No.
years, but yes, it was 2025 Academy Lanes out of Haverhill, Massachusetts. Then
Thank you.
A+ accounting, COVID, Kingswood out of Fredericton, New Brunswick, Kingswood. I forget 2013. I can't remember for the life of me. And then 2011 was one of the Team USAs.
Oh,
All I
that's
say about that-
interesting to me. Huh.
Just real quick about the foul. All I'm just saying is, until they change the rule, you have to abide by the rules. All I'm saying.
Yes, we agree with you.
Paul is a passionate guy about rules. All right.
I gave that
like
dude
it.
some
I
money.
tend
for
to
some
agree with
lemon drops
Eric
when I
here,
was
Paul.
there.
I agree with Eric.
Hi, Eric.
I don't know who Eric is, but I just feel like being on the opposite of Paul right now.
Yeah, Eric's actually his profile picture showing Fairlanes Moncton, in fact. But yeah, there's a difference between a 3-inch lob and an obvious Nova 55 ball. But yeah, there are also some bowlers who will say, well, lofting the ball is not an advantage if it's not your normal delivery, for example.
Now
Fred,
we're definitely on the opposite of Paul because
Yeah,
we
Fred-
cannot
Fred
agree
needs
with
to go.
Toffelmeyer. We
don't
cannot
like
agree
Freddie.
with Freddie. Not a chance. See ya.
Freddie, sorry,
Well,
Freddie,
again, my thing is, why have rules then? Why don't you just foul all the time? Why don't you just count balls like going the channel out with the wood? Count those. You got to draw the line somewhere.
You're really
So
easy to
this-
like wind up, eh?
Yes.
No, I'm just saying.
This is how we grow the game, by talking about rules.
So-
more.
So here we go. Here's a rule that we want your guys' take on as candlepinners, because obviously your foul line is just a dead ball. It's a 0, right? Or a lost ball.
It's a lost ball, as opposed to 5-pin, which is a -15 at the end of the game.
-15.
That ball
So-
doesn't count in Candlepin, and you'd lose it.
Yeah.
Oh.
So in 5-pin, if you really wanted to be that person, you
Ready,
could
go
walk
down.
all the way down the lane, deliver the ball, and take the -15. But you won't strike all the time because it's freaking hard.
Do you not
We
have a
tried it.
deliberate foul rule for said person?
There isn't.
No.
There is not. There is not a
Yeah.
deliberate foul. No one's ever actually done this, but it has always been something that we've talked about.
So if you
I could
chop
take
the
a shot- I
5,
could take a shot,
or if you, what would be the strategy there? You throw your first ball.
If you could throw a strike every time by being 10 feet from the pins, would you take that score every time? And do you feel that there should be a rule against essentially committing a foul every time, but only taking the 15 pin deduction?
Which, by the way, would be a 270 because you would be taking 12 15-point fouls, but getting a perfect 450, right? I think that's how that works.
Correct.
Yeah.
So you
That's
shoot a
the-
270 every time, which is the competitive average.
Yeah.
That's actually a really good average. Yeah. That's,
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't get 0. Yeah.
So I think in our game, I think the 15 points. I think an intentional foul rule is something that we should actually look at, Tim. That is actually, yeah. No one's ever done it, but now that we've thrown it out in the world, someone's going to.
Well, there's
So-
something in the Candlepin community about this too. I've told you about the spread eagle. If you throw a spread eagle, you got about a 1% chance of converting that into a spare.
Exactly.
If you could hit reset and you'd have at least
Exactly.
a 9% chance of making a strike for a spare.
Yeah, so in our game where striking is, 50% sort of thing, and like if you go up and you foul and you punch, all of a sudden that foul's an advantage if you just get a full rack. Right? All of a sudden now you have a chance of getting a spare that you wouldn't have had an opportunity. A very good chance of getting a spare that you wouldn't have had an opportunity before.
Or the dreaded aces, the corner pins.
Right, exactly. So like
Greg's done his homework here. I like it.
Yeah. He has. So I don't know.
I watched the 1 or 2 TF episodes. Don't worry about it.
That's good. That's good.
Freddie texted me.
I'm
so passionate about this right now. I was like,
But Freddie was a guy who never lobbed it. So when we've seen some Candlepinners come over into our game, a lot of them either had a problem with lobbing it a little bit or slamming the ball into the foul line. And you kind of want to be in between that. And Freddie was a guy who was never had that issue. Freddie was his transition into 5-pin was phenomenal. He was incredible.
I'm kind of going off topic here, but we know when Candlepinners have moved out here, like the Drovers moved out here at some point. We obviously know McLaughlin's and all that. Yeah. But we know them because they're moving their arms back and forth before they even they're on the approach.
Yeah.
Oh,
and so what it is they've never really given me a true reason why they do it. But what is the reason for is it just trying to get momentum or get warmed up or something? Or
I noticed that you guys are still in your approach, so it's the opposite notice. You're noticing that we're moving it.
Right.
That's probably habit of watching other people do it. Think about Justin Waters, one of our premier bowlers. Like how many times, back and forth, it's a rhythm. It's a rhythm thing. We tend to have 3 and 4 step approaches, and you have to get it. Especially if you're doing a 4-step approach, you can't go. Then you're going back and forth, and you have to get it so it's timed. So you start. And you know how long it's going to take for the ball to go back all the way, so you're launching at the time when you're taking your approach step. So you're trying to get a timing thing. Our feet tend to get, and I imagine it would happen with you even more because your ball's heavier. Our feet go too fast. You can't move the ball because it's stuck back there, and your old baseball habits come in where you think you can throw it faster. And your feet are at the line and the ball's still way behind you. That's a disaster. That's when you have your biggest misses, is when your feet are at the line and you're not ready to launch.
Yeah. We have that too, but I don't think to that big of an extreme. Like the timing isn't if our timing is bad, you might miss, you might punch. You could still be accurate with your timing not being perfect, but yeah, I don't.
But I don't think you're throwing 45 miles an hour either.
That's what I was gonna say. Is I think it's more of the speed at which you guys throw the ball.
Yeah, we're not trying to throw it as hard as we can, right? So we're reducing probably that part of it where we're not missing by a mile because we're not missing by a mile, 5 or 6 inches, right?
And this might be out to lunch, but I feel like we sacrifice a little bit of speed by us getting over the shot this way. Like we tend to bend forward quite a bit on our shot.
I saw
Whereas
that too.
you see when Candlepin, you see a lot of them drop their shoulder and generate speed that way. So with our shoulders being square and over top, our timing doesn't have to be perfect because our arm is in line.
You're on that line either way.
With our target, exactly. Whereas in Candlepin, I feel like if you're dropping that shoulder, your timing isn't right. That's when you start spraying a little bit too. So I think your timing needs to be a little bit more precise, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and I think there's 2 reasons basically that speed has that extra emphasis in Candlepin and why you see people do some, I think honestly, stranger deliveries and maybe more jerkier or rapid deliveries than the relatively fluid motions in 5-pin. Number 1, the fact that the ball weighs less than the Candlepins, for example, by an ounce or 2, but that matters. And number 2, the rubber band that you have and Candlepin and other forms don't. Although I do notice another game, which is the rubber band duckpin or the petite key game that Quebecois have as well. And those ball speeds are really slow.
Really slow, yeah.
really, really slow, but
Yeah,
very
it's-
effective.
Bocce then.
It is, yeah.
And they do get
Yeah,
perfect
a lot of them
300s
do
in that
play
game.
bocce too.
But in
Yeah.
5-pin too, you can still be very effective throwing a slower ball. Like Kerry was referencing Gino earlier. He doesn't throw it really hard by any stretch of the imagination, but he's probably one of the better 5-pin bowlers in history.
Yeah.
Like I said,
Yeah,
my
interesting.
proprietor here, he made the Hall of Fame, and he threw just through repetition. He threw really slow, but he's one of the best guys to ever play our game. So
One of the things that speed gives you in Candlepin, in my observation, is that people, like I said, you miss a lot. You miss 30% of the time when you're aiming for the head pin, even if you're a top pro. But when you miss the head pin and you're throwing a 45-mile-an-hour pitch, you can often wipe out 8 pins and have a reasonable spare opportunity. Whereas I bowl in a lot of leagues with some people that bowl really slow, like 8, 10, 12, 14, 20 miles an hour. Those people miss, and it's like, ugh, you're looking at, you're lucky to get 3 pins out of a miss with a slow ball.
Right.
yeah, you do need to like I found you have to throw hard, and if you throw slow in Candlepin, you're cooked. You have no business really playing at the level we were playing at there.
Well, you were
'Cause
throwing
you-
35. I was measuring you, and
Yeah,
one of the guys on your team was throwing 27 and still getting a good
Mark.
mark.
I
Yeah.
have a question for the Canada 5 team. First of all, thank you for the warm welcome you gave us, gave myself, and to the whole world. You guys were just exemplary, and more neat teams to emulate that. So thank you very much for that. Second of all,
Appreciate it.
do you feel like you need like another 1 or 2 more bowlers on your team to get to the next level in the world? How do you upgrade? How's that conversation look like if you have to cut someone, or how do you look forward to the next year or two? Would you come to Academy Lanes in Haverhill next year? Would you wait till 2027?
I know I won't be playing next year. I told the boys I'd be more than willing to come back in 2 years. I got a lot going on this year, so it's not really on the calendar to come to the U.S. this year. But yeah, I mean, Bobby's pretty much in charge of personnel decisions, and we've talked
Okay.
about a few more 5-pin bowlers that throw. Kerry Kreitz would be a really good example. Guys that throw the ball at Mach 10 in 5-pin, he would probably do really well at Candlepin. Evan Lecoussier, Derek Orn, like these guys wind up and throw a 5-pin ball as hard as your Candlepin ballers throw, maybe harder.
Evan could throw a 3-pound 12, or sorry, yeah, 3-pound 12-ounce ball, like 57 kilometers an hour.
Yeah.
So I don't even know what that translates to. 40.
Yeah. 50.
Like a 312 ball. It's
Yeah, that's
gross.
going to work.
Because one of the guys in 2023 said he never bowled Candlepin before. He said for the first time he bowls 9-pin. He's on the world's team, and they did pretty good.
That was Matt Schultz, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, Schultz. Yep.
Matt Schultz is mad because now everyone thinks it's Andrew Murphy's team, and he's like, I've been here for 3 years, and everyone talks about Andrew Murphy. It's all about Andrew Murphy.
Yeah. He walked into the bowling alley. He's like, "Is that Andrew Murphy's teammate?" And he was like, "Oh my god."
Yeah, we were giving him a pretty hard time. So.
I was impressed. You guys were like something like 28-0 or 26-0 at one point. You were under 500, and you went like 26-0 to get in the playoffs at one point, and you hung on the last match.
Yeah, we lost our second match to Team USA, who shout out. That was a great team and a great bunch of guys. Probably my favorite of the tournament to play.
And they were in the Final Four last year too.
Yeah. Oh, but like I said, great guys. Asked them a lot of questions. They were super friendly with it and stuff. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Bobby hasn't said it's going to be strictly 5-pin bowlers or what personnel decisions he's going to make. Like there's a few of us that didn't even average 110. Like maybe 3 or 4 of us didn't even average 110. And obviously, like I had never thrown a ball before that week in Candlepin. Andrew had never thrown a ball. I think Brad had only thrown maybe once. And obviously Matt and Bobby. Matt's been there a few times now. Bobby grew up playing it. And the rest of the guys were actual Candlepinners. But yeah, to be more competitive, you're going to have to definitely add. But whether it's from the 5-pin world or maybe someone from the Candlepin world, like it doesn't have to strictly be 5-pin bowlers, is my understanding. Like if we can add like a decent player that's a good Candlepin bowler, why not?
I have a question. Do you guys have, what's the closest center where you guys would have a tournament like the Worlds where we could send 5 guys up to see if they could give it a run. Like if we sent some of our best bowlers up, and
So
where would they?
we don't have team like open events where you can just show up and put a team in, but we have lots of singles events. Like Club Tour would probably be the closest one to you guys in Toronto or Oshawa area.
Yeah.
Obviously there's duck pinners that come up and play all the time, but a Candlepinner would be cool to see.
It would be cool. We could put a Candlepin Bowling Network scholarship together if we can get a couple of A-level, of our top bowlers to be interested.
I'd like to see Josh.
We can even go up and film it.
I'd like to see Josh Daly throw some 5-pin with the shot he throws. I would like to see what he does to 5-pins. So
busted off the string.
Keith Beaupre too, and Tim Douglas.
Yeah.
I'd love to see us bring back small ball worlds, like just small ball, like have a competition with the best 5-pinners, the best duck pinners, the best cattle pinners, and then this. I would love to see it. I would love to see how it all translates.
Yeah.
I think Candlepin bowlers, like especially elite ones in your game, would probably have a lot of success at 5-pin. Like there's obviously a few adjustments you have to make, but all the guys that I've known that have come over to 5-pin have had pretty good deals of success, like Bobby Kite, Sean Langlois, Freddie Toffelmeyer, Marco Laughlin. Like these are national champions in 5-pin.
Yeah.
Never mind competing at a high level in the worlds as well, right? So
Freddie Toffelmeyer threw a triple strike to beat Maria's subs, and that string they won costed the playoffs, basically. Right. In hindsight, the end, not that match itself.
And got us in the playoffs, essentially.
Right.
So
yes.
Look at Freddie, a 5-pinner through and through.
Hell yeah.
Coming through for you boys.
Helping out.
Sorry to end back the conversation, but I know there's a screen share feature, but I can't figure out how to do this. Greenmount Bowl in Hampstead, Maryland posted this image of Candlepins and 5-pins. They're a duck pin center. And this might be rubber band duck pins. I'm now
that is soft belly. Yeah, that's soft belly.
Yeah, it's a little squat and fat. Sorry, but yeah.
I'm going down to Maryland soon. The games. The most important thing, though, I think your sport has recently suffered the COVID decline. We had certainly, but there's been a resurgence, and I think part of it is the way we are able to stream the matches. A lot of guys like it's a little bit more intimate. It's not a national broadcast, but we had 10,000 people watching the Worlds. That's awesome. But our typical matches we'll have 250, 200. Watching Friday Night Pro, the Friday Night Pro League, Paul and Greg covering it, and that's become a real mainstay for people. And I think it's bowlers covering bowlers. We're not that technically savvy. We know the game. We come to it with some of us have a great voice like Greg, and some of us have a brilliant, fast calculation and a sales voice like Paul, and we're able to pull it off a little bit, but just by staying with the technology and by keeping the game alive on YouTube and on Facebook, I think this sport can live well into the century, if not into the next century. And we have to broaden our horizons a little bit. Maybe cross paths a little more often, because this was I think there was something special happening, wasn't it, Ryan?
I just gotta say, like at the end when we lost to Academy in the first round of the playoffs there, and we were taking pictures against the wall, and we turned around and basically the whole bowling alley was giving us a standing ovation sort of thing. You know what? That was one of the greatest feelings I've ever experienced in a bowling center. Like I had my eyes, like I said, man, my eyes were welling up, and I was like, "Is this really happening? Like this is amazing!" Like.
That was very touching. That's like a Kodak moment back then.
Yeah, no, it was, and like I said, guys like Matt who can be like pretty tough on the outside. That you can see in his face, like, holy shit, like this is we did something here. Like they recognize what we did, and it's awesome to get that recognition, because none of us were there as a novelty. We all wanted to compete. Like these guys up here know me, and the guys that were there for 5-pin, we're all competitors.
Don't do it half-assed,
You guys came swinging out of the gate in the first string, and also in the third string. You guys were really into it still. You guys weren't checking out. You guys were just really rooting for each other. You just pretend like it was ball one of the match. And I I was very impressed how you handled yourselves. The energy, the enthusiasm, the professionalism as well
No, I
was amazing.
appreciate that. No, it was
I-
one of the best teams I've ever had the pleasure of being a part of as well. So
I just think this is kind of what do you want to call it? But it's across all of bowling sports. Like we see it in 5-pin. Everybody's very welcoming. It sounds like in Candlepin it's very welcoming. Duckpin, I know it's very welcoming on their tour as well. But bowling in general, I think, is just. I always say it was the poor man's game, right? Every working Joe Blow could go bowl, and I think that's what brought it together. It's such a sport that is welcoming to all age types, all genders, all that stuff, right? And it's something to be said that like these guys, these can go 5-pinners can go play Candlepin, and sure enough, they can succeed. But it was welcomed for them to succeed. It wasn't.
Yeah.
There wasn't a stigma like who the hell are these guys competing in our game, right? So I applaud you guys for that. I love that. That's amazing.
No, there wasn't really. There was a couple incidents that were maybe a little questionable, that they weren't big, but 99% of the guys and people there were amazing. Like zero complaints. Would love to do it again in the future if the opportunity presents itself. So,
How far was your drive there for your team? Pretty much. Did you guys all come together in a couple of cars?
I had to drive 7.5 hours to Winnipeg, and then I flew to Montreal and then to Halifax. Then Bobby and Matt come in the next morning and picked me up, and we drove to Moncton. So it was a pretty good journey for myself.
That's Canada hosting the game for you. Yeah, it was a 10-hour drive for me from Western Mass to get up there.
It's a bit of a haul for you guys too.
But it was great, and I got to know Paul a lot better on the
way. I follow a few Candlepin groups, obviously with my connections with bowling, and it was funny after the Worlds, like some of the conversations that you could see happening in those groups, and one that I'd like to get your opinion on is I saw somebody post, and there was a lot of engagement on it about, you guys are trying to grow your game in your area and in the States, and then somebody was like, maybe we're thinking about this wrong. Maybe we need to grow the game across Canada if we want to see the game.
Maybe.
Just because of how 5-pin translates, right? What are you guys' thoughts on that? And how would we make that happen?
Is that okay? Because 5-pin is Canada's game, Canadian invented and everything, but there's it's all small ball bowling in the end, and two great ways to build wonderful communities just at your local bowling.
I'm imagining you're going to have to maintain the pin setters.
Yes.
That
is the tough part.
One of the problems we had, we have a couple outlier houses in Ohio, and one of them, the only guy who knew how to fix the Candlepin equipment passed on in 2010, and it was just the machines fell out of wear. They're not that you can make them out of parts. I'm told. I'm told you can make the pin setters out of
Franken machines.
Yeah, and maintaining them though, you got five different machine. You have 5 different motors in a Candlepin machine, and I believe the strings are all of your centers string. Or
not all of them,
98%. Yeah.
Okay, you hear that sometimes. People don't want to hear it in Candlepin because it may not work well. Because with how do you play with wood? We have wood. You can't have strings with
someone tried
with live
didn't work
wood.
Well.
Oh, really?
No.
But the 10-pin game is going that direction because it's a lot less expensive to maintain your pin
much
setters.
more reliable.
Yeah,
much more reliable, and fixes can be done.
Easier
swiftly.
fixes for sure. Yeah.
The other thing too is
that said, the setters are okay because you don't have to. The duck pin, they have to pick the pins up and sweep, and it's a little tricky.
And nobody makes those either.
Well, it's like the 10-pin machine. The pins are replaced every year, I was told, by the 10-pin machines, where Candlepin pins replaced every 15, 20 years. So it's kind of like the VHS Betamax debate back in the 90s. We go with VHS, we go with Betamax. The VHS was less quality, but was cheaper, and that won out. So it's kind of like that with Candlepin. They don't make the machines. No one's really mass-produced the machines anymore.
No.
So it's tough.
Could you modify a 10-pin machine to make it work?
Ooh, someone's wondered that as well, but
I'm
I'm no engineer. Dexter, but maybe you'd have to like put cups in the things to modify for
the mechanisms in the drum too are used to spin the pins around and stuff like that, and the pickups they wouldn't work on a Candlepin because it's a long, skinny. The pickup doesn't work the same, right?
And in practice, a Candlepin pin setter, you can look it up on YouTube if any of your listeners are curious as well. That actually goes up an elevator as well, and it just brings the pin up just flat and then over the top, and it drops into these slots and then pushed out, and that's how it gets deployed. So a little bit different.
Yeah, I know Scott.
But I think you can grow
I know
the
Scott
game.
Moore is building new things also.
No, it's the engineering and the costs are out there. That's a big factor. What we have to do in the interim, though, is I think we have to have a little more. Like this crossover was a great success, Ryan. Great, like you're saying, like a moment of your life kind of.
Yeah. Oh no, it's something like I said, and like kudos to you guys, because the only reason I've really watched Candlepin the last few years is mostly the Candlepin Bowling Network and following the ICCs, and I was like, if I ever get the opportunity to do this, man, I want to. And Bobby's known for years that I've wanted to do this.
I think,
so when
I
he
think
took
the game
over
is one of the great games. I think
it's it's
I
beautiful.
want
and
to bring
it's
the game to as
maddening,
many people as a sport, because I think the more that they watch it, there are people watching cornhole, there are people watching sports that don't quite have as much action as Candlepin does, certainly.
Right.
And if we can bring it and make it sensible, and bring it to we've already broken in our fans a little bit on both sides of this conversation. I think that Candlepin and 5-pin have a bit more of what I like about it, the pitching aspect, of the game, and that I think there's an audience out there that will grow into it, and they want to play. Like a lot of people that watch our network from outside of New England and the Maritimes say, I want to play. Where can I play? And they now make it a tourist, something they do when they visit Boston. Yeah. But we're starting to see these places in Greenmont, in Minnesota now, and possibly a center could open up in some entrepreneur in Canada could do it. But I think in the meantime, as bowlers and as broadcasters, we have to keep bringing each other's game a little bit and show the crossover. There's a natural rivalry too. If we put Josh Daly puts together a team, you see that academy team go up, would they be able to compete in 5-pin?
Well, I think there was a similar conversation. There was a similar conversation with Duckpin, and actually the president of Canada 5, Mr. Tim Wiseman's up here. If they ever want to do something for a national championship, I mean, put together your best Candlepin team, put together your best Duckpin team, come to our Canadian nationals and see how you fare against the best from every province.
See, and that's all. Like we've talked a lot about with Duckpin about that happening and having a Duckpin team play for against the Canadian 5-pin Open. But that being said, I mean, it's almost easier to do it with a Candlepin team because you could take the winner of the Worlds.
Yeah. That's right.
And that team would be scary as heck in a 5-pin tournament because they are all great players. So
are you guys familiar with David? Are you guys familiar with David Gowans, Oshawa, Ontario? He's a 5-pin bowler.
No.
Out of Nebs.
Yeah.
We know Nebs. Obviously, we know the Englands. They're the ones that own and operate Nebs. But I'm not too familiar with the name that you just said.
Okay. Gowans or Cowan?
Gowans. Gowans. David Gowans.
No.
He's a Candlepin enthusiast now. He wants to try it. He's out in Oshawa, Ontario. Does 5-pin.
Oh, it's only a short couple-hour plane ride to Halifax or Moncton. I mean, jump on there and go do it. I'm glad I did.
Let's and I'm ready to travel. I want to cover some. I want to cover some bowling in other states and other provinces.
Yeah.
I think our commentary talents wouldn't be terrible up there. I mean, obviously we're a bit more of a bombastic style. It's just like I watched the WCB tour, obviously, because I did a lot of research for this. But
that's our professional side. Most of our other stuff, not so professional.
Watch Pro League on Sunday mornings.
So we should have you guys commentate some of our 5-pin stuff.
Oh wow!
And then we'll go commentate some of your Candlepin stuff.
I don't know any of the terms.
Are you talking in person?
Neither, but it'll be great.
Are you talking in person or remotely?
Remotely, yeah.
Oh yeah, remote.
Carrie, I see you, but no, any press is good press.
I would love to have these guys do a week of pro league. Like
That's what I'm
not
saying,
really
yeah.
knowing the game. That'd be
We
something really
100%
cool to see.
you guys to
But
do.
no, the point I wanted to make was that the thing you do for your year-end WCB Tour Championships event, that media company does a slick job with like all the camera cuts. I do wish we could do more of that. I mean,
It's
like,
very
you know,
good, yeah.
your guys' backsides look nice, Ryan, and
Yeah,
all
you're
that.
putting
No
money into
offense.
that.
Yeah,
Don't want to make it weird or anything, but like, I want to get some more
It's-
camera angles.
It's more about our hairlines. The president up here should let us wear hats in the championship.
Yeah.
Oh, no hats in Candlepin Worlds either,
No,
which
I know.
also
Yeah.
causes some hurt feelings.
I
That's
wore
the
it
way-
during singles because I saw other people wearing it during singles. So I'm like, I'm wearing my hat if everyone else is wearing hats. So.
You know, it's been very encouraging. I've been asked to come to several houses in Canada that covers matches. Problem is, reception isn't very good on a phone with a tripod without plugging in like Greg and Bob can. So that's the disadvantage. But it's very encouraging that people want you to come to their house, and I want to do it. It's just logistically, how do you make it work? How do you pay for the expenses? Can they put me up and so put us up in a room and pay for it?
Yeah, the great thing about like our pro league on Sunday mornings is it's all done with StreamYard, right? So like exactly what we're using right now, but we bring in the production, the combination of the two teams playing each other into this, and then you just commentate over their play. It's all live. But yeah, it's very manageable, and it's something if you guys are interested to join one broadcast, we're more than willing to.
Greg, you can take
help you
vacation,
out with
can't
that.
you? I retired early, so I can sneak away.
It's a
Well,
Sunday.
I'm taking vacation for this. I'm taking vacation for Men's Worlds, but I'll try and work something out with my boss.
Oh, you guys, like I said, you guys do such a great job. Like we can hear you guys like screaming for great shots, like on lane 1 and 2. Probably my favorite call of the tournament, and we watched it back at the Airbnb on YouTube when we got back. I can't remember who said it, but Andrew Murphy threw like a 156 game or something against Team USA. And whoever commented is Andrew Murphy is making a mockery of our game. Watching it back at the house, we were laughing so hard. Like, oh my god!
I'll bet you $1 that was Duncan McDougal, the
Duncan
fourth guy we
McDougal.
had on the team, and was
One of the
unfortunately
finest
not able
names
to.
in all of bowling, Duncan McDougal. Yeah.
Oh, but man,
He's sad. He would have wanted to attend this. Kerry did invite him, but unfortunately couldn't make it.
Some of the commentary is just great, though. Like, you guys do a great job. So
We got Aiden Bourgeois from a 17-year-old who was hanging around the booth.
Right.
We let him in, and he broadcast. He put in hours on the.
Oh yeah.
We covered every single match. We have 46 hours on two different channels for that. It was
awesome,
and people were watching. They loved it. They loved it.
Can I ask you guys a question? Just some feedback? What do you like about us? What we do? What can we improve on in your eyes?
I think you should get rid of the lob line.
No,
do you mean as commentators, or do you mean the game in general?
The commentators.
Oh no, you guys, like I said, you're spectacular. Yeah. Like we don't have anything like you guys in the 5-pin world, and that's not a knock on anybody in 5-pin. We all do our best when we commentate, but you guys, like, you have the voices for it, the enthusiasm. Like I love watching the broadcast on YouTube because you guys do such a phenomenal job at it. So
yeah,
like,
helps me bad at bowling. I have more time for it. Commentary.
But like I kind of watched the older stuff too, where it was a little, like I said, it had that professionalism where it's like, oh, this is Sunday morning Candlepin from blah blah blah, and you would have like the back end stuff you were talking about that
Chief of all Channel 5's. Sorry, Ryan, I kept stepping on you, but Channel 5's Candlepin Bowling with Don Gillis, which Bob was alluding to earlier.
Right. Yeah. So I mean, like, there's probably stuff we can take from your world of commentary and stuff you guys can take from our world and kind of to make either game better, right? I mean, there's always room to improve. So
music, dance, better uniforms.
Yeah. We got lots of nice comments about our shirts. They were really well done. And Mark Johnson, they did them up for us as well. So he's a big 5-pin bowler. So
yeah. And we like the names in the back help a lot too.
Yeah.
Our sport kind of went more professional on the individual side, so like the bowling shirts and stuff like that. And then with the WCB Tour coming on and live streaming and start doing that, I think that's lagged a bit behind. But most of the time, it's only people competing that are at these events. So like we're all there competing, and then we're going to spend time commentating as well. A lot of people don't invest that time, and I don't belittle them or fault them for it, because our sport has gotten to the point where there's only 40 spots available and there's 150 people playing for it. So they invest their time on being the professional and trying to make the cut instead of the entertainment side of it. And till we get those people that are willing to show up that aren't competing to commentate, we're probably always going to run into that issue. And our tournaments are so remote. Like we have people coming across all Canada just to play one event a year. Like it gets hard that way, but it is growing, and it would be neat to see your guys' broadcast style.
There are a lot of children
on our sport,
who grow up dreaming about being announcers, though. Like people, Paul Grant is one of them. I think Greg Guyar was one of them. I know when I played wiffle ball, I was always commenting every time I hit a ball. He's like, "Oh, and it's a long drive to deep center field."
Yeah.
Gillis is back. He's
well, if you wanted to do it like Vin Scully, we could do it that way too.
Yeah.
But so you got to find someone like that, like or Paul's got an injury; he can't bowl anymore, and he spends his time. He's driven, like I said, 512 matches last year. So you might find that in someone who's toward the retirement side, or who just always really kind of liked announcing. I bet there's a couple people out there that would really like, because my finding is at the end of a tournament, the happiest person is the winner, and the second happiest person is the announcer. They get a joy, an adrenaline.
Because I don't know if you've noticed this, but we're nerds. There has to be someone out there, Like you need nerds at times to do certain things, So I'm sure there's someone out there.
Yeah.
Maybe they're listening tonight. Who knows?
Yeah.
You never know.
It's probably not any of the four of us.
Not with that attitude.
Yeah, you don't want me on commentary after 14 Coors Lights, believe me. So
I used to announce board games.
Oh wow!
Oh, that sounds amazing.
Yahtzee, 2 in a row.
Wow!
Well, I used to go to Boston Celtics games. They didn't play the Raiders, by the way. I used to announce my seat. I'd bring a tape recorder, announce my seat back in the early '80s when Larry Bird played.
Nice.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah. I obviously this podcast has been great. Obviously, we can talk more, but usually this is kind of our wrap up time. Yeah. But any questions you guys have for us on our sport? I know we talked a lot about the transition between the two games. Obviously, Ryan can speak volumes, as I seen him miss the middle more than I've ever seen him miss the middle in my life playing Worlds. And I'm just going to say,
tiny.
Because the ball's tiny. Yeah. But I'm going to leave the floor up to you guys to give you a few minutes to unload your thoughts.
How's the future of your sport? Ours seems to be on the up with, we're trying to invest in youth programs, but I know there's been setbacks. For example, like the Atlantic Youth Bowling of Canada, for example, had a setback. Like the last banner that was hanging over the Fairlanes Moncton was Aiden Bourgeois, in fact, in 2019. And then the youth program just sort of fizzled out after COVID. But now I've heard it's sort of restarting again. How's your youth pipeline and your promotion efforts? Do you think it's going well, or are you more on the concerned side of things?
I think you can say that we kind of plateaued, I think, right now. Like, we're not dropping or going, but to put it this way, in like the 70s, we probably had close to 80,000 people, 70,000 in youth bowling. And I know Kevin Burns is one of our Bowl Canada executives or staff members. He was hopping on here. He can probably tell you. But I think we're like 6,000 or 7,000 now currently. So that's a huge drop. Honestly, a lot of it is centers closing. It's not financially feasible for a lot of the centers closing. So I don't think it's really on anybody. I know out in our area, obviously, there's more predominant sports. We found like a huge loss in indoor soccer. Indoor soccer is a big thing out here. And indoor soccer is really like took a lot of people away in the early.
I've noticed that too.
Do you guys have a lot of restaurants inside your place? Because it seems like you have to have like Academy Lanes put Pub 125 in. It almost seems like unless you have cheap rent like Riverwalk Lanes, Amesbury, Mass, you got to have some other industry inside, like
Yeah.
a bar besides a bar.
Yeah,
Food.
100%.
We have
So
food and
our,
drink. Yeah.
yeah, our industry has kind of definitely shifted. So back in the 80s and the 90s and 70s, bowling sold itself. You didn't have to do shit. You had to just open up the doors, and then like they'd flow in. You'd have back-to-back leagues of 6-player teams. They'd play until midnight, and that was the thing to do. It has shifted away from the league bowling side of it to a lot more of like the open play entertainment side of things. So now it's definitely far more about customer retention than it is about league bowlers. Our center, we're very fortunate that we have a pretty good balance of both. Our league bowling is still very good, but our open play is also very good. But keeping people around and the additional income coming from alcohol sales, pop sales, food sales, all those things, that really plays into it.
Yeah.
I think that we've seen a really good increase in the competitive side of bowling in the country over the last decade or so, which has been really positive and encouraging. I think the youth side is this part where we need to be a little bit concerned. Not that it's in a horrible state, but it has potential of being in a bad state in a number of years. So that's something that we need to definitely focus on. But our industry has definitely shifted into a balance or more to the entertainment side than it is just for league bowling. Yeah. If you want to be successful, otherwise you need to be in a place that's in a basement. If you're in a basement, you're fine.
My best advice to you guys would be that I think the people's cell phones should stay away from the scoring table. So people shouldn't be looking at their cell phones while they're bowling. It's a great alternative, but they should actually be on the tripod. They put their cell phone up on a tripod and turn it on a live stream and just start live streaming everything you've got, because our fans are getting, they really enjoyed watching, the Canadian bowlers, not just from Canada 5, but from, there were another 100 bowlers they'd never seen before, and we have an appetite for it. Our network would love to have an affiliate out there that could just show more Candlepin tournaments. Get in there, and I think the same thing with 5-pin. You gotta just put those matches on at a lower level, like to let people watch each other play. And the sport has that's where social media belongs, and it doesn't belong where people are looking at TikTok when there should be watching each other and cheering each other on. They should be, putting each other on and watching each other, and across distances. Now we can actually, we can actually travel and bowl the way you guys have been doing it for years, almost at a more professional and national level. We can now do it across centers much more easily than we could 50 years ago.
I did notice a lot of teams when like a match wasn't on the live stream, they would be setting up their own social media feeds for, I would say, 80 to 90% of the matches that weren't on the live stream.
So many cameras ran, yeah.
I have never seen that in the 5-pin world ever, where people are taping matches and stuff like that. Like you might get one stream for an entire tournament, like one set of lanes or two sets of lanes, and that's what you watch because there's no other streams available, right? Yeah. And that's not a knock on the game, but it's like the people personally aren't taking the time to, hey, I'm going to set up a phone and you guys can watch like us play, sort of thing. I mean,
that's an easy way to make the transition. Before you're able to put the scoreboard up, before you're able to get the graphics and the great announcers like Greg and Paul, they can really bring some jazz to the show. Exactly. You can just show your league night. You can show your league night, and people want to, you won't have 3 million viewers like we did. We've had 3 million viewers on our network, but you might have 300 and 3,000 pretty soon. And it's like, hey, wait, this is a pretty cool sport.
Yeah. But I said I met a lot of cool people in Moncton, like amongst the Candlepin world, and a few of them added me on Facebook. And I hope, I hope a bunch of people maybe got curious about our game and checked it out, looked it up on YouTube and seen what we were all about. Like I was wondering how much of that was what do these guys play, and how did it translate to our game, and what's their game all about? Like maybe the same way I got into Candlepin. I had no business getting into it. I just started watching it one day and became completely addicted to watching it. So
it's a good show. It's
really
amazing.
Good show. And like I said, the pins, there's a million different combinations you can leave for second shots, third shots, and it's just, you never know. It's like chaos.
And most of them suck.
Yes.
That wasn't fair.
No, yeah.
I watched a lot of Ryan bowling, and a lot of his misses were on the right side, so he had a lot of sticks on the left-hand side he had to pick up.
Yeah.
But I think my favorite moment was that we practiced on the Sunday before the singles there, and I had never thrown a ball. Me, Matt, and Bobby went out, and I threw a couple frames, and I threw a shot where I'm like, oh, that's a good ball, and I knocked over like 2 pins. And I turned around, and those two clowns both had the biggest smiles on their faces, and they're like, "Welcome to Candlepin, buddy." And I'm like,
that is a youch. That is a youch. Y-O-U-C-H.
Oh, my goodness, like that game is something else. Like I did not know what to expect, but it did not disappoint. Like it was frustrating, and yet I was so happy the entire time I was playing it. So.
One more question I want to ask you guys. Tell your friends and family, subscribe free. The Candlepin Bowling Network on YouTube in high definition.
I'm already on there. I'm guessing probably one or two of these guys probably subscribe too. So
I did,
really oddly formed question.
Yeah.
Question mark at the end, I think.
No, that's the answer. Your response needs to be in the form of a question.
Yeah. Alex Trebek wouldn't approve.
Yeah.
Ooh, sorry.
Well, we are gonna wrap this up. I can't thank you guys again enough. A couple takeaways from this. Obviously, go subscribe to these guys. Go watch the matches. They have
absolutely
league night matches and all that stuff as well. But number one is get rid of that lob line. What the heck is that for? And
any plexiglass barriers to borrow?
We need more synthetic lanes in Candlepin. I don't know.
Yeah.
A lot of people hate synthetic lanes, though. They complain about it. I don't like synthetic lanes.
Careful, or we're going to start another hour-long podcast about this.
And then they realize that the proprietor can stay open when they have synthetic.
And flat gutters are superior.
I've never played with the gutters on the end, so I'm hoping to come to the States one of these years and play that too. So.
And second point was we need Team Candlepin and Team Duckpin to join C5 Open.
Absolutely.
Yes, Tim Wiseman.
Make it happen. That would be absolutely unreal.
To end this podcast, I'm guessing these guys have probably never seen a specific video we have of the Canadian president that might be able to be just to end the show. It's maybe the greatest video in our 5-pin history.
Kind of a tradition that we show.
This is Tim Wiseman and his Oh yeah, that one hurt.
Do you have instant replay?
No, we'll just reload it.
We've only been playing this for about 110 podcasts now, so it's never going away.
Yeah, that one's gonna be around forever.
Bowling is a game of coordination.
Yes, we love you, Tim. Now get these guys in our game. You're the president.
That's right.
How do I sign off? Yeah.
Hit the little X in the corner.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Let's pause 8.8 seconds for station ID from Greg Liar.
This is Candlepin Bowling Network. The views of the guests here do not necessarily represent those of 5-Pin Universe, especially regarding the lob line.
That's very.
We just tripped over the lob line.
All right. See you, everyone. Have a good night.
Right.
Thanks for having it, everybody. Thank you.